I'm Paul Carrack, and I'm here today to talk about an album I've made called The Countryside of Paul Carrack.
Take these chains.
I've loved all kinds of music, and particularly rootsy kind of music, you know, authentic stuff. A lot of people detect the influences of sort of soul, and they think of me a lot in that kind of area, but I've also loved country. I'm certainly no authority on the subject, but you know, growing up, I was hungry for any kind of music, but I would listen to people like Chet Atkins, the Everly Brothers, Hank Williams, and I particularly loved to hear Ray Charles, who was predominantly known for his soul and jazz stuff, but he could also sing really great country. Well, I have an older brother, John, 4 years. He's 4 years older than me, and I remember one Christmas we were given these toy guitars, and we used to sing along with skiffle, people like Lonnie Donegan, and things like Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, and stuff like that. Being in a band with Nick Lowe for many years in the sort of 80s, that was all we would play when we were traveling America on the bus and gigging. You know, we would have George Jones, particular favorite, you know, Willie Nelson, the obvious suspects, and people like the Osborne brothers, who are a little more obscure to people like me. But it all made sense, particularly when you were in America on the road. I've always wanted to do a country album, and out of the blue, a guy contacted me on the internet. Well, he emailed me and said, I am this guy, I'm Stephen Wood. I'd like to cover the song you did on your last album called Lighten Up Your Mood. And I thought, oh yeah, okay. But I checked him out. I looked, he's got a lot of stuff on YouTube. And I thought, actually, this guy's pretty good. And so I said, you know, please go ahead, that'd be fantastic. And he suggested, you know, would you like to collaborate on this track? You know, play on it, or maybe we could sing a couple of lines each. And as I said, I checked him out, and I thought, this guy knows what he's doing. And I said, sure, let's do that. So he recorded the track over in, it was either Nashville or North Carolina where he lives. He sent me over the files, and I dubbed on some Hammond organ and sang some lines. And I think it turned out really well. He had it on his YouTube channel, and he got a fantastic response. And I said, I've always wanted to make a country album. So he said, well, why don't we collaborate on something like that? Let's do some tracks. That was the beginning of it. Country's a massive genre, and it's changed over the decades and years. I didn't particularly want it to be a particularly modern sounding record, because my favorites are more authentic, they're old school. I mean, we even do a Hank Snow song, which is one of my favorites, my grandson's favorite. And I wanted it to be pretty authentic to that kind of early 60s, 70s kind of vibe. I'm a massive fan of George Jones. Who isn't, who likes country music? Genius, basically. And I was in two minds about whether it was a good idea to even go there, because, you know, he's so incredible. And I didn't want to take liberties. And I have ultimate respect for him as an artist. But I'm not that precious, really, am I? So I thought, no, I'm going to do it. And could have been any one of, you know, 100 songs, but always been a particular favorite is Take Me. Two songs on there that I've written or had a hand in writing. The first one was Love Will Keep Us Alive, which was recorded by the Eagles. I've done several versions of it, but the fact that we were making a record in Nashville would have been crazy not to have done a Nashville version of it. So we did a Nashville version. It's a song written by Peter Vale and Jim Capaldi, and I chucked a few lines in here and there. So yeah, it's different, but it's the proper country version of Love Will Keep Us Alive. 1959, Heartaches by the Number, recorded by Guy Mitchell. I love Guy Mitchell because he did a song called Singing the Blues, which is a song we sing at the football, but probably shouldn't go there at the moment. But yeah, Heartaches by the Number. It was a toss-up between this or Singing the Blues, and we went for Heartaches by the Number. Well, Shelley's Winter Love, Merle Haggard. What an artist, what a great songwriter, and what a great story of his life. Again, goes back to my days with Nick Lowe when we would sing this one together, actually. Shelley's Winter Love. Brings back many memories of doing bus tours back in the 80s. So, over the years, I've written a number of songs with my good friend Chris Difford, fantastic lyricist. I recorded this song, The Cold Light of Day, on a previous album called These Days, and that's a nice version, but Stephen was keen to do a version of this on the country album. So it has a slightly different feel, slightly different groove, and thanks again to Chris for the lyric. Funnily enough, this is a song I would often have when my grandson would come round when he was real little, and he loved this song. And I do too. Again, the authenticity of Hank Snow, the Texas Ranger, I think it was his moniker. And there's a little song called I Don't Hurt Anymore. Yeah, so we had a few discussions about what songs we were going to do on this. I wanted them all to be pretty much classics. And one of the songs that had to be on there was one of my all-time favorites, Take These Chains From My Heart. And I've always loved the version by Ray Charles. Well, I love everything he does anyway. But of course it was originally recorded by Hank Williams. And I just love Hank Williams, the authenticity of it and everything. So this was, one of the first choices, one of the songs that had to be on there. And I believe it's going to probably be the first single. I Saw the Light, yeah, Hank Williams song. I think Stephen was keen to get a gospel song on there one way or another. And because we've had many conversations, as I said, about music, about life, about what's going on in the world, about Christianity, and he was quite keen to get a gospel song on there, and I was too. So we finally agreed on I Saw the Light by Hank Williams, and it's a different version, obviously, a little more swampy in the feel of it. My Baby's Gone. Yeah, I love this song, My Baby's Gone. We used to play this on the bus with Nick and the guys. It's an old school recording, obviously, the original. I'm just looking here. I think it was done sometime in the 50s. And very authentic, but I'll tell you about this song. It's called My Baby's Gone. And this does strike a chord with me because when I lost my dad when I was very young, very suddenly, had an accident, and I couldn't understand how the world was just going on as normal. And I'm like, and this story, the song says, the milkman comes to my door whistling, the mailman comes, don't they know the world's ended, my baby's gone. And I know exactly where they're coming from with that, and that's why that one always has meant something. I've made a number of albums where I've played literally everything. I don't want to do that anymore, for sure. I think I could have made a country-influenced record. But I think the fact that I really handed over the production to Stephen and let him get on with it, you know, was a good idea. So my real input into this is basically singing. Stephen has his own process of production where he starts quite basic with a basic outline, which I would sing to. And then he would go into the studio in Nashville with some top-notch players who know this method inside out, and they brought the humanity to the sound and the production. So 10 tracks on the album, 2 of mine or co-writes, and the rest are pretty much classics, or at least they are to me. And it will be on vinyl also, CD. We hope to have a single out in June. I think so. I think by and large, people who like me will like this. There'll be a few people are saying, "Oh my God, what's he doing now?" Some people like a particular aspect of what I do. They're not so keen on this. They're not so keen on that. You know, maybe the orchestral thing or the jazz thing. But by and large, I think the majority of my fans are going to love it. I think that's one of the best things about being an independent artist is we don't have to have a bunch of meetings with record company execs. If we want to do something, we can do it, and we can do it pretty quick. And if we like it, we like it. If we don't, we don't. But the opportunity arose, coincidentally or whatever. Met Stephen, got to know him. He's a practical guy. He just wants to, like me, let's get on with it and see what happens. And it was a great experience, and I hope it's the first of many.
All my faith in you is gone, but the heartache